Welcome to Cooking with Dragons. My name is Rook, and today I'm going to show you how I make scorpion cheddar jack cheese. So, for this, you're just going to need a couple of peppers. I'm actually just using one. I got two here just because I want to dry one of them out to make more powder. So, one's going to be powdered for the cheese, the other's going to be powdered for use by itself. So, this is a bit of an overnight process. So, the first thing I'm going to do is cut these two in half. I'm going to lay them on a paper towel, and then I'm going to let them dry out overnight. And then tomorrow, I'll come home and I'll put them in the oven for about an hour or two to let them crisp up. And then once that's done, I'll powder both of them up separately, and then I'll add the cheese to it. Okay, I got it in my pocket. Hopefully it won't fall out. So, like I said, I don't have gloves for these, but you kind of should. So I'm just removing the stem very slowly. There we go, and then just kind of cut it in half. It's very important to wash these tools afterwards because the capsaicin will stay on them for a good while. So, right, and that's basically all you do, really. Nate, you can smell it as soon as you cut it open too. Okay, so yeah, that is basically all you got to do. And definitely make sure to wash your hands afterwards, just to be sure, because this is a super hot, and But yeah. Alright, now it's time to dry it out. Alrighty. So the last thing after you cut them in half, is just find a cool spot for them. And I find just my closet being pretty good. And then yeah, it should dry out pretty nicely overnight, and then I'll dehydrate them the rest of the way in the oven. And we'll go from there. Alrighty, here's what we got so far. They don't look very dry, but they got the process started. So the next thing to do is just get the oven ready. I'm going to turn the oven to lowest setting you can go, which here is 170. If you can get it lower than that, that works. That's good, but 170 is just right. So the next little thing we want to do is just cut them up a little bit more. That'll help them dry out faster. Maybe get rid of some of the placenta as well as some of the seeds, and then go from there. Alrighty, so here's what we got so far. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do to get it like that, and then hopefully go from there. Alrighty, so as you might be able to see, I got the seeds separated. Now, contrary to belief, taking the seeds out will not make this less hot. The seeds will actually just make it more bitter. That's the reason I'm taking it out. But the heat is actually within the actual heat is actually within the walls, and the heat is actually within that orange right there. And there I am handling it barehanded because fuck it. But anyway, so I just like to cut it in half. This is the one that I cut in half already. So just cut it in half, and then I just take it like so. Just almost like I'm playing it, but of course it's not. There you go. And there we go. And from there, I just cut it into strips. Once I have it separated from the seeds and the pits, I'm going to spread it out a little bit. That helps it cook better. Yeah, just take it under, and just like that. Almost like you're flaying. And yeah. Alrighty, so here's how it should kind of look. If you want to use a bigger pan, you can, but it doesn't have to be perfectly spread out. Just enough to where it kind of has enough room to, crisp up. And the way you'll know that they're done is when you can take one of the skins and snap them in half. That's when they're ready to be powdered. And then yeah, so I'll be back in a couple hours. Alrighty, so here's what we got so far. I just took them out for a second just to look at them. They got about a half hour. Got about a half hour left. But if they snap, they might not need that extra half hour. So that's how you know when they're done. So let's pick one up. Oh yeah, they're ready. Alrighty, so I went ahead and cut the cheddar already. This is about as much as I'll need for that kind of container. Sharp cheddar is usually pretty good for peppers. It makes them stand out a little. It makes the cheese and the pepper work together better, I think. And so now it's time to separate the peppers. So that so I can use some of it for the cheese and some of it for just by itself. Alrighty, I might actually need a bigger container. That should do just fine. And yes, I did cut the plastic without cutting the cheese out because I can. I have cut a McDonald's McRib box in half before, so this is just something I like to do, especially when I feel lazy and not opening it. Alrighty, so yeah, like I said, cheddar works pretty well with hot peppers, I think. Although you can go with whatever kind of cheese you like. White cheddar works pretty well too. And then you just grate up that cheese, and then after I powder up this cheese, I will grate up. After I powder up this pepper, I'll grate the cheese and I'll throw that in there, and then we'll shake it up from there. Okay, so now just gonna transfer that in there. It's probably not safer to do this when it's dry, but I'm doing it just because. Okay. Grab a small but decent sized spoon, and then you just take the back of it and you just crush it up. Alrighty, so here's what it looks like, nice and powdery. Like I said, if you would have done this in like a blender or a pestle and mortar, you would have that residual leftover lost from it. So that way you get the most out of your pepper, or out of two peppers rather. And then there's the cheese. I have a little bit more than what I need for this particular container, so might use the use I might use the rest of it for some leftover mac and cheese. So that's always good. Now I have the rest of this I can use. I could just leave it by itself, and then I can crush it up whenever I need it. So there's another idea. Alrighty, so now let's get this cheese in there. Like I said, just enough to really coat that in there. That should be good. Alrighty, now it's time to lock in. And then shake it up. Okay, so yeah. You just shake it up until it's well incorporated, and it looks pretty well incorporated to me, I think. And then you can just store this in the fridge and use it as you want it, and it'll last just about as any other shredded cheese, about 5 to 6 days, something like that. But yeah. Suppose now I should give it a taste. Ooh, look at that. Nicely coated. This should be good enough. Try it out. Oh yeah. That's pretty lit right there. Ooh, fuck yeah, that's good. That's good and spicy right there. Alright. Alright, scorpion cheddar cheese. Check it out. Thank you for watching. My name is Work for Cooking with Dragons. We explore the world of food. See you next time we keep on feeding the fire.